And John Heilman, as Lindsey Graham said after getting all the evidence, Lindsey Graham, by the way, not exactly a tough critic of Donald Trump's, at least not now, since John McCain's death. We may not have had a smoking gun, but as Lindsey said, we had a smoking saw, the bone saw the Saudis took in to cut to pieces a Washington Post journalist, a Virginia resident, and the father of American kids.
Who gasped for breath during it.
And look, Joe, you know, you and I have talked about this before. You and I have what I think is the right view about this, and it's a very harsh view, which is not that Donald Trump is ignoring the evidence, but that Donald Trump doesn't believe the evidence. Donald Trump just doesn't care. He has financial interests. He's been he and his family have been tied up with MBS in Saudi Arabia for a long time. He wants to continue to be allied with MBS because he thinks there's a financial interest in doing so for after his presidency. And so he just does not care about the life of Jamal Khashoggi. But I do ask you, Senator Durbin, I can explain Donald Trump in those terms. They are crass and morally disgusting, but I can at least explain it, that he just does not care about the life of this journalist. I ask you, what possibly explains Mike Pompeo taking the position that he's taken? He's not going to make any money from MBS. He's got no financial connections to MBS that I know of. What could possibly explain his desire to look past the evidence that everyone who has seen it believes directly implicates MBS in this murder?
Go back to that Fox interview. There was a reference made during the course of the interview by Secretary of State Pompeo to the line of succession in this monarchy in Saudi Arabia. I think that is at the heart of the position being taken by Secretary Pompeo. He is worrisome that if all trails lead to the Crown Prince, there could be a change of power in Saudi Arabia, and we're not certain which direction to be headed to. It is that uncertainty that probably leads him to this conclusion, a conclusion that is not supported by the intelligence evidence from the very agency that he used to head just weeks ago.
So, Joe, I have to ask, because I don't think I can't think of anyone here who could put it more clearly than you. I understand that Donald Trump doesn't care. Heilman makes a good point. He doesn't care. But why doesn't Mike Pompeo care right now? Are the pathetic deflections that we just heard when he appeared on Fox and Friends, is that a patriot speaking? Or a wannabe dictator's buttboy? I'm dead serious. I'm asking, are these the words of a patriot?
He's debased himself. He once again has undercut the conclusions of our intel community. He may think that he's being too clever by half, that he's wiggling out, he's weaseling out of some semantics game, but he's not. Casey Hunt, when he says that the Saudis have already paid enough for the luring, the torture, the slaughter, the carving up of a Washington Post columnist, an American resident, and the father of 2 American citizens, Mike Pompeo puts himself not only on the other side of lovers of freedom and democracy everywhere, lovers of free speech everywhere, but also of most people on Capitol Hill, right? Even Republicans.